Sebastian.
Hello.
Hello. It's really nice to meet you finally after working on 2 projects already for a couple of years. Finally, we get to meet each other. Until now, we had been only coordinating each other online, doing the guides, developing the other materials. And now we get to do the conference together.
Brilliant. Yeah, nice to be here. Nice to meet with you too.
How did you enjoy the conference? Was it encouraging to continue working on more projects related on this topic?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I think it's encouraging that people are coming along and supporting and are engaged in this topic. I mean, it's a very strong topic, migration, and people have a lot of feelings about that, right? And it's quite interesting at how all of the different partners from the different countries, despite their realities, can relate to this topic, right? Because in one way or another, they're all being affected by migration, either by migrants coming to their country, or they're losing people from their country, so that's also an issue for them as well, right? So you got that good feeling on the project that people were kind of still engaged in, that they were kind of happy about the work that we were doing and feel like it's going to support and encourage people in the country and organizations working in their countries as well.
Migration, it's really broad if you just say migration, and we are smaller organizations in relation to bigger ones. By bigger I mean the UN, you know. So we are smaller, so surely we are emphasizing on some particular aspects of this topic. For example, this project, can you tell us what is our target group exactly and how it can benefit?
Yeah, I mean, so I think, of course, when you think about the issue, it's absolutely massive, right? And if we compare ourselves to UNHCR or other large organizations out there that are working with migrants, yeah, we're very tiny, and what can we do? So what we can do is be specific, right? And we be specific with the market that we're working with. And so this pot that we're working with under the European Commission is the pot to support youth work and youth development. And so as youth work is growing across Europe and across the world as well, our role is how can we support youth workers to have the competencies and the abilities to engage with this topic and to engage with people themselves, right? So either young migrants that are coming through the organizations, or how can we as youth work organizations support organizations that are going to deal with migrants in their country, and what role can we play in terms of our network that we have to share all this good practice. So I think that's where we offer something unique.
How do you think other people can benefit from taking part in this work that we're doing here? How do you think that any other student like me, for example, can just join in and take part in these type of events and projects? Because as we are trying to help increase the capacity of working with these type of people of our organizations, we also would need to increase our capacity. So for example, we need to increase our lines, to have more volunteers working on this project, because at some point the work is too much. How do you suggest we attract more younger people to help us?
Yeah, I mean, I think like most organizations operate the same, and I can say about how we do things in Indonesia. So we have a continual flow of volunteers that come into the organization, and of course people will come for a period of time. They will grow and raise and gain the skills that they need, and they'll go off and do whatever it is that they want to go and do in their life, whether that's gaining employment, going off to study, and whatever. So what we try to do is just work on building the capacity of those volunteers that are with us, and try to get the volunteers to also support the capacity building of the new ones coming through. So it's kind of like a passing the torch kind of effect, right? That's what it is that we're trying to aim to achieve. Yeah, and and as we kind of progress in these projects, right, there's far more there's far more work than often we have the capacity to do, right? And I think that's either we then start searching for additional funding to be able to support these kind of projects, or we have to accept the limitations of what we can do and be just very specific and say, well, actually if we're going to do something, this is what we can really achieve right now. Because when we spread ourselves too thinly, we end up just doing a poor job on everything, right? So that's my kind of 2 recommendations.
This project is coming to its end. What's next? What's the final event about? How do you plan to finalize the project, and how to disseminate it?
Yeah. So with this project, the goal was always to work. Sorry, start again. So this project is coming to an end, and the goal was always to work towards finishing the publication and the application, right? So those are the kind of the practical tools that are the results of this project. And so now for all the partners involved in the organization in making this project, it's our role now to disseminate that in our local realities and to make sure that it's available to the people who need to get that. The evaluation of the project will be next month in June, which will take place in Kenya, to kind of evaluate this whole process and what happened. Like any project, this was a 2-year project. Of course, there were things that worked well, there were challenges along the way as well. So to kind of evaluate those and see how we can kind of improve upon them, tighten the bolts where they need to be tightened, and this issue is not going away, right? So we want to continue to kind of look at that, continue to support that, share that practice amongst more countries and partners around the world, and just make the best impact that we can with the small thing that we're creating.
It was a pleasure having you. There is perspective in what we're doing. I hope we bring it to a good end, and looking forward to work with you again on other following projects.
Brilliant. Thanks for letting us be a part of it. All the best.